Welcome to a special edition of Believers Talk. My name is Joe. Thank you for joining me. If you are new to this channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. You will be sure to like this video, of course. And once you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you're new to this channel, we do go live 3 times a week most of the time. This video had to be a little special and be recorded because of our special guests. So we will get to that in a minute. But we go live. We live stream the Bills games. I will not be live streaming this Sunday, however. I will be at the game personally. So our special guest, UCF Jaguar, will be live streaming that game for you. You do want to get on there and subscribe to his channel as well to catch that live stream. So we want to thank UCF Jaguar for being our special guest. We'll get to that video in a moment. Just wanted to get on here and kind of give you a preview of the Bills versus Jaguars game. We'll get to that video, some questions we asked, some going back and forth there. Also did a collab video for his channel, so check that out. Had some questions for me as well. We went over that as well. So check out UCF Jaguar, hit that subscribe button for him as well. Again, if you're new here, I know if you come over from UCF Jaguar, first of all, welcome. Again, my name is Joe. I thank you for joining us for this video. But hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we'll come on here live, like I said, 3 times a week. Normally come on here Monday to give you guys a recap of the game. I like to rewatch the game and kind of without emotion involved. Obviously, if I'm live streaming the game, there's a lot of emotion involved in that. So I try to take a deep breath, and then we do watch the game over again. Then I'll do my live recap before we start Tuesday, which is the start of the work week. If you're in the NFL, that's when you have to start looking for that next opponent. Then we go live every Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you watching me now. If you're watching this video later, obviously it won't be Thanksgiving, but I hope you still had a happy Thanksgiving. But yeah, we normally go live every Thursday. So you do a preview video of the game coming up the coming week. Obviously this week is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars coming into town playing our Buffalo Bills after the Jaguars come off of what probably was their most depressing loss of the season. How will they respond to that coming into this one? But that's something we talked to UCF Jaguar a little bit about, asking a couple more questions. So we'll get to his video. Again, I wanted to thank him for being on here. If you haven't already gone over there, go over there. Again, he will be live streaming the game this Sunday as well as the Bills play the Jaguars. So if you normally watch me, unfortunately, again, I will be at the game, so I won't be able to live stream it there. But if you go to his channel, he'll have that for you, and he'll be more than happy to have you guys. So let's switch to that video real quick, and then he'll get into that discussion. We'll go over that, and then we'll come back here, and I'll do a little pregame for you, give you my 3 keys to victory, and maybe I'll do my prediction now since I was unable to do that. I'll be unable to do that come Sunday. So here's the video. I hope you all enjoy it. And again, if you haven't already subscribed to UCF Jaguar, be sure to do that. But here we go. We want to welcome UCF Jaguar into the show now. UCF Jaguar, thank you for joining me.
Of course, man. It's good to be here.
Good to have you. If you are not already a subscriber to UCF Jaguar, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Go over to his channel. Great Jaguar content. Also, if you happen to be a UCF fan, he's obviously a huge UCF fan, and also he will be live. He will be live streaming this Sunday's game, Bills versus Jags. If you're normally watching my live streams, obviously I'll be at the game, so I won't be live streaming them. Go over to UCF Jaguar. He'll have the game for you. So thanks for that. You'll probably see some more Bills fans over there for that. So.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So what we really want to talk about is we want to get ready for this game Sunday. We'll do a little talk back and forth, question and answer, and then we'll do a little preview for this game. But I want to start off by asking you guys started the season 3-1. You beat the New England Patriots. I mean, everything was looking good. What happened to lead to 6 straight losses at that point to make this a season 3-7 now?
Well, I mean, there was a whole bunch of things that happened. I mean, first of all, our very first game of the year, Leonard Fournette went down with a hamstring injury, and
right.
It took until literally a couple weeks ago for him to actually be able to play a full game. He was out for a full 8 games basically without playing a full game. So really, that was the identity of our offense. I mean, we were able to kind of survive a little bit at the beginning of the year without him, but he got injured. Our offensive line got injured. Blake Bortles hasn't been playing well at all, and Blake Bortles isn't a guy who can really necessarily carry a team. The defense hasn't been producing the kind of numbers that they were last year. I mean, they were like number 1 or 2 in scoring, turnovers. they've been pretty good when it comes to total yardage, but there's been some games that there's been some huge busts between them with the coverage and communication. The defensive line hasn't been getting enough pressure, and really it's just a culmination of, originally losing Fournette, the offensive line being really banged up. The receivers are just haven't been very good at all. We have one of the worst receiving corps out there, so a bunch of things have gone on.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I look at the injury report from week to week for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and it just seems like they keep piling up a little bit too. Like it's not that good when you have all those injuries. So, but coming off of what I would think would be probably the most depressing loss so far for you guys this season, you had Pittsburgh basically beat 16-0 going into the fourth quarter. They come back to win that game. Do you think the Jaguars will come up to Buffalo and they will be excited and a little maybe pissed off that they're there and that they didn't pull out the win last week, or do you think this will be a letdown game?
Well, I mean, for the Jaguars, I mean, if it takes 6 losses in a row for them to wake up, then they have the wrong motivation issues, man. I mean, they after losing 1 or 2 games in a row, they should feel the need to come back and be able to pull off victory. But, man, we are in a total, nosedive. I don't know what can really – I don't know what can motivate this team right now. I mean, you would think that playing division rivals were motivated. You'd think playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who they went 2-0 against last year, would motivate them. But, at this point, we have 7 losses right now. The best we could do is go 9-7, and even 9-7 probably won't get you into playoffs. So they have to find something to motivate them. They're playing a Buffalo team who's, not as good as some of the teams we've been playing in weeks past. So, I mean, hopefully they can come back and win this, but I mean, we're in a game where 2 teams are trying to find ways to be motivated.
Yeah, that's the thing about this game, and you kind of spoke to a little bit there. Lately we've been hearing a lot talk about the issues in the Jaguar locker room and talking about Jordan Ramsey possibly being on a trade block. Do you make anything of those things? Is this team kind of giving up on the season, and what are your takes on that?
Well, I guess there's probably just some finger pointing going on. I mean, I'm glad they're showing some emotions. I'd rather guys be pissed off about it than just passive and letting it, letting them just lose and moving on and figuring out what they're going to do that night. Jalen Ramsey, he's a passionate guy. He's a guy that likes to win, really just hates losing. He's very, very success motivated. He's motivated by wins, and I mean, I don't think they're going to trade him. I don't know where Adam Schefter comes with a rumor like that from. I mean, Jalen Ramsey, he's a hell of a player. He's the kind of guy that you want to draft. You want to be able to draft guys that are top 2, top 3 at their position. And, to trade him, I know it sparked up every NFL YouTuber made a video about should their team trade for Jalen Ramsey. I don't think he's going anywhere, but, this team, I don't know if there's some culture issues going on. I think there's going to be a lot of turnover with this roster next year to really just because we're below the cap right now. We're not in a good cap situation. So, get rid of the guys that, could potentially be leeches to any kind of success that we're having. You already got rid of Dante Fowler Jr., who, while I'm not going to call him someone that was a locker room cancer, he was certainly a guy that got in trouble a lot. So, we'll see with the Jaguars, man. There's going to be a lot of work to do this offseason.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of, again, leading into my next question. What do you think your biggest needs are going into this offseason? You talked about wide receivers a little bit. Talk about that, if you would.
Well, I mean, I guess we'll start off with just quarterback. I mean, we need a new quarterback. Blake Bortles, he got a big contract after kind of having some end-of-the-season success last year, and, they didn't give him that contract to stay at the level he was at. They were hoping he would be able to raise his play, but he really hasn't. I mean, granted, he's been hurt by offensive line injuries, Fournette being out, not really having a great wide receiver core. But, you want a quarterback that can really elevate the play of their team, and that's a real leader, and that's not really something that he can do. If everything around him is right, he can do well. But, at the end of the day, you want to be able to have Pro Bowl, all-pro quarterbacks, guys that can lead your team to the, Super Bowl. We need to fix the offensive line. We need to get some new offensive line in here. Wide receiver is a big thing. I mean, I do like our D.D. Westbrook, but, I feel like he's more of a wide receiver number 2. I feel like if you were to be able to pair him up with a true wide receiver 1, I mean, if he could be a Calvin Ridley to a Julio Jones or, back then a Will Fuller to a DeAndre Hopkins, a Juju Smith-Schuster to an Antonio Brown. I feel like if he had a number one wide receiver in there, he would be a lot more successful.
Right.
You know, we had in the past, just a couple of years ago, Allen Hurns get 1,000 receiving yards. He got that because Allen Robinson was on the other side, and he got it, 1,400 yards. So I think a wide receiver number one will open up some opportunity for some other players around him. And, we're going to have to cut some players from our defense. So whoever we cut, we're probably going to have to replace. So there's a lot of needs. We picked up a third-round pick for trading away Fowler, so that'll be able to be helpful. And, we got some work to do, but hopefully we still got a lot of talent on this team, but it's a lost year thus far.
Yeah, and that's kind of my last question. I personally believe that if you look at the Bills and Jaguars on paper, the Jaguars have more talent. So what do the Jaguars have to avoid happening in order to come out with this win on the road in a tough place to play? The Bills Mafia, kind of, one of the better fan bases.
Well, they have to be able to win a turnover battle, just because it's probably going to be a low-scoring game, I think, and you have to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that are there. If you lose a turnover battle in a place that's going to be probably pretty cold, maybe not cold for Buffalo standards, but certainly cold for Floridian standpoint.
Yeah.
So you gotta be able to establish the run the ball well. Leonard Fournette was run the rock pretty well last game before they just started run. You know how you guys know from experience how Nate Hackett can be.
Yeah.
But we got to be able to do that and just be able to expose the rookie quarterback. I mean, I assume Josh Allen will be playing this Sunday from all the reports I do see.
Right.
So he's going these rookies that go against tough defenses. Mean defenses like the NFL or like the Jaguars can have. I mean, they certainly haven't showed up other weeks, but they showed up last week against Pittsburgh, and they still have the same exact, close to the same personnel that they had in 2017 when they were a really good defense. So, we've been able to play good against guys like, a rookie in Sam Darnold. So we got to be able to do the same against a rookie in Josh Allen.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing about rookies. You say all the time, you want to be able to expose them because we all know that Josh Allen isn't, at least hopefully he's not a finished product yet. We want to see more from him. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned turnovers because when I was looking at this game on paper, Jaguars right now have a -9 turnover differential, and the Bills are there at -7. So it's like, who's going to come ahead in that turnover battle might decide this one. Like you said, it's going to be a low-scoring game. But UCF Jaguar, again, thank you for joining me, man. Glad to have you on the show. If you haven't already subscribed to UCF, man, be sure to do that. Like I say, we'll be live streaming this game this Sunday, so you want to be there for that. But again, thank you.
Yeah, man, thanks so much for having me on, man. Hope to do this again sometime in the future.
Yeah, I mean, who knows where we finish? We might be doing this again next year, depending where we finish in the standings. So, but yeah, thanks for joining me again. Subscribe to UCF Jaguar. His link will be down in the description below. But yeah, we'll see you soon.
All right.
So again, I want to thank UCF Jaguar for doing that video with me. And again, if you have not already gone over to his channel, be sure to check it out. The link is in the description below. I'll post it there. Go over to his channel, like him, follow him there. And again, he will be live streaming the game this Sunday, Buffalo Bills versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if you're normally watching me live stream, I will not be live streaming this week. Want to make sure you still can get to the game. Go over to UCF Jaguars channel. He'll have that game for you. And he does a great job as well. So look forward to the game this Sunday. I'm really excited. And again, if you watch the video that I did with UCF Jaguar, we talk a little bit about this game and just what we think is going to happen. I think this is a huge test actually for the Jacksonville Jaguars, more so than the Buffalo Bills. It'll be interesting to see how the Jaguars rebound after such a disappointing loss to Pittsburgh. They were up 16-0, going into the fourth quarter. Everything was rolling for them. It looked like they were coming with the win, but that Pittsburgh team you can't hold them down the whole game. They start coming back. They end up winning that game. I think it was 20-16. Just where's the Jaguars mindset at? I do believe that this Jaguars team is more talented on paper. So if they come out a little upset, a little mad about the result of last week's game, they can definitely beat the Buffalo Bills. However, coming up to Buffalo after a depressing loss like that, it looked like at the end of the game, a lot of Jaguars were holding their heads low. They weren't exactly looking mad or anything like that. And as UCF talked about in the video, if it takes 6 losses or 7 losses in a row, if you get mad, there's a problem at that point. You should be getting mad early in the season, getting amped up for a division rivalry game, things like that. So, what will Jacksonville do coming up to Buffalo after such a disappointing loss. That'll be interesting to see. But I want to kind of get into some of the inactives for this week, or at least the players that did not practice. Obviously, we know some of the players that did for the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen obviously will be back. We're going to talk about that, what to expect from him after his 4-game absence. We're going to talk about, Anderson is out of concussion protocol. Does that mean he's the backup, or is that Matt Barkley's job as the backup? Who is it going to be? I personally think it's actually going to be Matt Barkley as the backup. Anderson was brought on simply to be a teacher to Josh Allen, and now that Matt Barkley's there, Mark Barkley proven to be a serviceable backup at least 2 weeks ago against the Jets. I think he can still do the backup job pretty well, and then we have Anderson there just to simply be a mentor to the young quarterback Josh Allen. So that's personally my opinion. If you disagree, let me know in the comments below. Let me know, do you think Anderson's going to be the backup to Josh Allen, or is it going to be Matt Barkley? Again, I personally think it's going to be Matt Barkley. So we have Chris Ivory was on the injured list 2 weeks ago. He'll be back in this game. Haven't heard much about Trent Murphy. I know he was limited in practice today, so he's listed probably as questionable going into this game. So there's a few injuries there. Shaq Lawson, I know, is questionable going into this game. He hurt his elbow or something like that in practice. Would love to see him in this game. He's having a really good year for the Bills, and I think that this year is kind of his coming out party for Buffalo. This is his 3rd year in the league. We kind of have to decide on that 5th-year option during this offseason for Shaq Lawson. So be interesting what we decide there as far as if we want to keep him for our 5th-year option or if we want to get rid of him after the 4th year. So, but with that, there's injury things involved, implications like that. So I'm not sure what we'll do there. It'll be very interesting to see. But I think he has rejuvenated his career this season. He's finally getting it. It seemed like it clicked. So, we like seeing that. Going over to the Jaguars side of the ball, obviously they got Leonard Fournette back. That's pretty much the key to their offense. A couple injuries, we can go over them a little bit later, probably in the next video that I do. But for the most part, they're starting to get a little healthier and healthier. Bills coming off that bye week are getting a little healthy as well. Obviously, of course, in that quarterback position and the running back position, the 2 main positions if you're a Bills fan. So what are the keys to victory in this game? What do the Bills need to do to beat the Jaguars in this game? Again, I told you guys, I think this is a test for Jacksonville coming up to Buffalo after a really demoralizing loss to Pittsburgh. But every loss in the NFL, you can argue, is demoralizing to some extent, especially those divisional ones. And Jacksonville had those earlier this season. So how will they come out of this loss to Pittsburgh and coming up to Buffalo in a place that, in an atmosphere that's normally really, really good? Bills Mafia always has that place rocking, so that we got to keep that up and going. And it's going to be the end of November, so I looked at the weather report. We're looking at 40 degrees. Not that cold for Buffalo, but for as UCF Jaguar said, for someone who's from Florida, it's going to be a little cold for them. So maybe that will play to our advantage a little bit. But what the Bills need to do to win, I think first and foremost, we need to be able to run the ball. The Jacksonville Jaguars average allowing over 100 yards rushing a game. We just had McCoy 2 weeks ago run for over 100 yards, run for 2 touchdowns. We have Chris Ivory coming back. There's more incentive there for us to run the ball well, and that's what we're going to have to do to have a chance against this Jaguars defense. We know Jalen Ramsey's going to come out and ball because of what he has been, the trash he's been talking, and just because he's a great player. So we cannot rely on this rookie quarterback who, again, has missed the past few weeks. Who knows how he's going to be coming back? We do want to take care of that elbow. A UCL sprain or tear or even a bruise is not something you want to play around with, and it's not something that you want to get to be worse if he takes a bad hit or something of that nature. So their job as a defense is going to try to get after Josh Allen from the defensive standpoint. So maybe limit him to 20-25 passes in this game. Try to get over that 40 rush number with both LaShawn McCoy, Chris Ivory, and even Marcus Murphy and Josh Allen. We've seen Josh Allen be able to ignite this offense with his feet as well, as he already has three rushing touchdowns on this season and only has 5 games played. So we know that he can do that. So maybe just open up the run game a little bit more. See what kind of play calling Brian Daboll has. I know a lot of Bills fans out there say we should fire Brian Daboll. I am not in that camp. But these 6 games will really be telling as far as what we should do with Brian Daboll, especially if Josh Allen's in for those 6 games, which I hope he is. I hope he's in for all these 6 games, and we can see if this offense starts improving a little bit. Again, with Josh Allen as our starter, we're 2-2. when in games that he starts and finishes. At least we're 2-2, so it'll be interesting to see how this offense does with him back under center. And if he's not doing well, do we put Matt Barkley back in? That's also a question. If he comes out and throws a couple picks early, do we say, you know what, let's give him a little more time on that elbow. Let's put Matt Barkley back in and see how we do there. UCF Jaguar said something about in his video and the video we did together about how this isn't going to be a high scoring game. So the turnover battle is going to be huge, and that's actually my second key to victory. I do agree with him. The turnover battle is going to be huge in this game. Whoever wins the turnover battle, in most games in the NFL, but in games like this, will win this game. We saw Monday night, Rams won the turnover battle by a lot, but they only won the game by 3 points. So, turnovers don't always tell a tale, but I think in this game it'll be very telling who wins the turnover battle. We saw this Jaguars defense have a few interceptions last week against Ben Roethlisberger. We need to try to avoid that coming into this week. Again, they're currently -9, their turnover ratio, where the Bills are -7, so that's not where we want to be. We want to be on the plus side of the ball on those things. So both, of course, obviously in the bottom of the league. So we also, the third key to victory, we need to stop Leonard Fournette. That's just an obvious thing. The Jaguars offense runs through Leonard Fournette, and our run defense for the most part, especially up the middle, has been pretty good this year, pretty solid. But it's around those edges that we kind of get a little shaky at times. So we need to be able to stop Leonard Fournette, not just only in the run game, but the screen game as well. We have allowed a couple screen passes go for big yardage in the season already. We need to be able to avoid that. We need to have someone on, even if it's like an Edmonds or Milano, we need to have someone kind of shadowing Fournette the whole game. And speaking of shadowing, remember in the playoffs, guys, we basically let Bortles beat us with his feet. We can't let that happen. We cannot let that happen. We have to be able to have someone kind of spying on Bortles as well, so that way he can't break contain, he can't create with his feet, create big chunk plays in the running game for himself, and then maybe have us have to put another guy in there, leave a tight end or wide receiver open. We both the Jaguars and Bills have the same issue at wide receiver. Not exactly a great group of guys at wide receiver, but we both can improve in that. UCF talked about how he likes D.D. Westbrook. But he doesn't feel like he's a true number 1 wide receiver. Well, if we give him the option to break free, he will do that. He is, I believe, the leading receiver this year. So we need to be able to contain him as well. But really, it all starts with that run game. If we can have a run defense like we normally do, especially up the middle, we talk about games against Houston, we talk about games against the Jets. But this Leonard Fournette is not one of those guys. But even you talk about Jordan Howard, we kind of contained him a pretty good deal against Chicago. That's the type of game we need to have. But even Jordan Howard in the screen game kind of beat us a couple times too. And Cohen in that Bears game, he beat us a lot. So we need to be able to contain the screen game as well. But if you look at the Indianapolis Colts game where we allowed over 200 rushing yards, if we have that defense show up on Sunday, we're not going to win this game. If Leonard Fournette has over 100 yards, we're not winning this game. And that's just, and by 100 yards, I mean 100 all-purpose yards, whether it be receiving, running, or a combination of both. I feel like if he has over 100 yards, maybe a touchdown in there, we're not going to win this game. We're talking about the 32nd ranked offense currently. Our offense is the 31st ranked offense, 32nd in scoring offense. We're not going to put up a lot of points probably. We need to be able to have our defense hold our back a little bit and say, no, we don't need to put up a lot of points. Put up points you can, but we'll hold this team to as few points as possible, so that way we have a chance to win this game. So those are my 3 keys to victory. Again, I'm really looking forward to this game. It's going to be really interesting to see what Jaguars team does come up to Buffalo to play. Again, I could see it going one of 2 ways, actually. I could see Jacksonville coming up because I do believe they have more talent on paper, and showing that, improving that, and then just beating us and just muscling us to death, getting turnovers from Josh Allen and being able to turn those into points on the other side of the ball. And, this might be a field goal game. This might be 15 to 9 or 12 to 9 or whatever you want to call it. But it's normally those games when I predict that there's a huge score. Like I predicted that for the Jets game, and we ended up scoring 41 in that one. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we score 41 again. I'd love to see that. I just don't see that happening against this Jaguars defense, who still has something to prove. I think that people are doubting them now. People are saying they're not as good as advertised and things like that. And I think they need to prove that they are as good as advertised. You talk about all this trash that Jalen Ramsey's been talking about Josh Allen. He'll come out pumped up, ready to play, and he's a talented player as is. He doesn't need extra motivation. And then, you talk about some of the other defensive players on that side of the ball. You talk about Marcel Darius, who's having a great year for Jacksonville. You just, like UCF said, you just got to keep him motivated in order for him to play well. But he's having a good year for him. It'll be interesting to see with him coming back to Buffalo, see how he plays. But then you look on the other side of the ball, Chris Ivory playing against his old team in the Jaguars. Let's see how he plays. There's a couple of ties here between Jacksonville and Buffalo. Obviously, Doug Marrone, head coach, and Hatchett, their offensive coordinator, both were in Buffalo 2 and 3 years ago before we got, or no, I'm sorry, a little bit longer than that, before we got Rex Ryan. And then you talk about Chris Ivory on our side for Jacksonville, and his ties there for a few years. So there are a few ties in this game. You're interesting to see how they do. But yeah, when Jacksonville comes up to Buffalo and we get a chance to play Doug Marrone again, there's always a little something extra for us Bills fans. So we'll see what happens this week. Again, I will be at the game, but if you go over to UCF Jaguar, description below, he will have this game live for you. Maybe I'll try to get on there during the game at some point and try to talk to you guys a little bit and see how we are doing at that point. Hopefully it's a close game. I look forward to this game. I look forward to being there. It's going to be my first time in the stadium where Buffalo plays. Obviously, the name's changed a few times since I was like 6 or 7 years old, so I'm really looking forward to it. And I look forward to seeing you guys the following week as I will go back to live streaming. I will still be live streaming Monday after the game, giving you live reaction to what I saw Monday, and then I will also be previewing the game Thursday. So look forward to those live streams. Again, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed to Believers Talk, we give you all the news, Buffalo transactions, everything that's going on Buffalo Bills. And we do live streams for those games. Bye weeks, when we play on different times, we do live stream other things. I'll probably be on here live streaming some Sabres games too at some point during the off season. So if you're a hockey fan, you want to subscribe as well. Hit that notification bell, because I do go live 3 times a week at least. But, things happen in the NFL day by day. So if something happens, something of newsworthy interest, I'll be on here to give you that news as well. So you want to hit that notification bell. Hit that like button. We all know you like this video. Again, I want to thank UCF Jaguar. Again, go subscribe to him. But I look forward to this game. I hope you do too. Enjoy it. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody, all the families out there. Enjoy your Thanksgiving as well. Enjoy this holiday season. Be safe and be happy. But until next time, go Bills.